but every week it surprises me that it's already Monday. Forgive me also for the background. I have yet to figure out why suddenly my green screen doesn't hang correctly. And so you're catching kind of the wall and part of my closet door off to the sides. So if I could ask you to just focus on me or the fireplace behind me, then you can kind of tune out that stuff on the side. But that's the beauty of being live, right? Sometimes stuff just doesn't work and you got to figure out a way around it. So that's my way around it. So, welcome. Thanks for being here. As always, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know where you're all at. Today, I'm talking about vegan interior design. Not because I know a whole lot about it, but I've recently learned some things about it. And I realized that I have thought about vegan home goods without realizing that I'd thought about it, if that makes sense. So recently, I met an expert in vegan interior design. So, what does that even mean? Well, she's an interior designer. And when she went vegan, she was like, wait a minute, I can apply my veganism to my work. And it turns out there's a whole thing. There's even going to be a vegan interior design conference or online summit in November. So, if I can pull up the link to that, I can put it in the chat. Otherwise, I'll share it at my social media, and you can find it there. But so that's pretty cool, right? Have you thought about your home and whether like how vegan it is, or is that um thank you so much. I'm glad that no one else noticed. Welcome, Chrysanthi. Thank you for being here. Good stuff. So have you thought about your house being veganized? Um, I think about it in like the things that I buy, right? If I'm buying like new blankets or I'm buying curtains, um, but I hadn't thought about like when I moved into a house, some of the carpets we had changed, but some of the carpets we didn't have changed. We just had a deep cleaning done because it was out of the budget to have brand new floors put in. So I realized in talking to this vegan interior designer, hey Diane, thanks for being here, that some carpet is made of wool. From what I can tell, looking at my carpets here, they're acrylic. And I know for sure the one that we had put in was acrylic because I was able to think about that and make sure that when talking to the company that was putting in the carpet, the one that we had chosen was acrylic. But carpet can be made of wool. So if you move into a house and you can't change the flooring and there's wool carpet in your house, what does that mean? Does that mean you're not vegan? I say no. I say that if your plan is to change the carpets, then you should look at non animal alternatives. And then if you still went with a wool carpet, then I think we need to have a talk about veganism and what it really is and what it means. But but the simple things around your home, like going back to blankets, there are so many pillows and blankets, and that's part of design, right? That's part of your aesthetic in your bedroom and on your couches, pillows, throws, things like that. There's so many of them that are stuffed with feathers, with goose down, not vegan. But there are so many really great alternatives. And in speaking with this interior designer, she even said that she'd done kind of a test with some of her clients and was like, okay, well, here's a down pillow, and here is, or I have a down pillow and I have an alternative pillow. Tell me which one you think is better. And she didn't tell them which was which. She just said, here, hold this. How does that feel? Here, hold that one. How does that feel? And she said that they chose the alternative. It was softer. And also, like the pillows that have feathers in them, like they're gonna poke you in the face. Like they start to come out and it's not really comfortable. And the feathers are not like they're not making pillows and comforters and stuff out of feathers that have been found on the ground, left behind by the geese who no longer need them, left behind by the ducks who no longer need them. No, no, no. They are plucked from live animals. That's how you get down jackets and blankets and pillows. So the alternatives are amazing. And just a little side note, when you're traveling, remember what that's what that was? And you're staying at a hotel, you can ask for alternative bedding. And most hotels will have that option. Apparently people are allergic to feathers. So if you have to tell them you're allergic to feathers, then tell them you're allergic to feathers. But definitely that's an option. Just a little sidebar. So when we were talking about kind of how do you design your home in the most vegan way possible, well, there's some things to look out for. Silk is in a lot of items, especially luxury items, as you're looking to decorate your home, and not just in curtains and blankets, but even sometimes in different upholstery you can find silk. Obviously leather couches and leather chairs, things like that. But there are great alternatives for all of these things. Like, you don't need silk pillows. There are lots of, or pillowcases or silk curtains. We have pretty beautiful curtains in our home, and they're completely, I think they're made from acrylic. They're not, and they're soft and they're really pretty. One set has a really nice flowery design in it, and another one is like a gradient of colors, and it's just really nice. I look this way because the the gradient colored one is right here next to me, and it goes from like an orange to a yellow to a light green into a darker green, and it's just really pretty, and it really suits the room, and so you don't need animal products in order to make your room feel luxurious or make your room feel or your home feel like beautiful. And another place where it's kind of it's, and I was going to say it's kind of, but it's exactly like shoes, buying footwear, is that if you're not buying from a vegan company, sometimes when you're buying furniture, kind of like when you're buying footwear, you don't know for sure that the glue used to hold all that stuff together is vegan. Very often there's still animals in that glue. But we need furniture. And if we can't get clarity and there's no way to get a vegan version, what do? You need to buy furniture. And I think that's where, and you've heard me say this before, we turn back to that definition of veganism, where we do the best we can as far as is possible and practicable, because we don't live in a vegan world as much as I wish we did. We just don't, not yet anyway. So we have to make sure that we aren't so we have to make sure we're not beating ourselves up for things that are out of our control. And as long as we are making the choices that are in alignment with our values, with our veganism, with everything else, everywhere else that we can, then I think that we need to accept that we don't live in a vegan world and move forward. And there is a significant difference, if you ask me, between buying furniture where you can't confirm whether or not the glue is made from animals, but you know that the structure of the piece is wood and it's stuffed with, like a polyfill, and then the fabric that is encasing that piece is like cotton or hemp, or but if you can't confirm that the glue doesn't contain animal products, like, I think that you have done the best you can in that situation. And so you are living within those values as far as possible and practicable. Oh, interesting. So I just got a note. Thanks, Nikki, that Nikki can't hear me. From my end, it seems okay. If you guys could just comment and let me know if you're able to hear me, send a thumbs up or let me know. I'm not sure, Nikki, if maybe that's on your end. You are the first person to comment that they can't hear me. Um, so that's around furniture. Okay. All right, great. So I think let me just put a note in the comment. Thinking others can hear me. Please check your sound. You like how I'm like reading out to you what I'm what I what I was typing out. But thank you all for confirming that you were able to hear me. Awesome. So that's like furniture. Another way that you can, when you're considering the design of your space, another thing to think about is paint. How much can paint change a room, right? Like, it's mind-blowing. It's like it becomes a whole new space. A few years ago, my husband and I, we moved into this house like 6 years, yeah, it was 6 years ago this summer. And in our kitchen, ev most of the walls were like a I think they were like a beige. They matched kind of the rest of the downstairs. And then there was the wall behind the fridge that was this like dark wine colored red. And it was mostly hidden behind the fridge, so it wasn't like in your face, but I didn't love it. And we just hadn't gotten around to painting that room when we first moved in. And we were like, "Oh, we'll get to it, we'll get to it." So we finally did a couple of years ago, and we painted the kitchen like this. It's like a mint green, and then all of the trim was like a bright white. So the room went from being this kind of like a beige, like muted color, and a dark wine colored wall to like this bright mint green with like white all the molding, and the door to the pantry was like a bright white, and it completely transformed the space. We didn't do anything else. We didn't change the cabinets. We didn't change the countertops because it just wasn't in the budget. So you have to work with what you've got, right? So paint is such an easy way to change the way your room or your house looks and feels. But did you know that like paint, just like everything else, like there are options that are vegan and options that aren't. And one of the things that I learned from the interior designer is that Benjamin Moore has, they don't test on animals, and they have a bunch of vegan colors. Now, she couldn't confirm which colors weren't vegan, but based on the conversation that we had, it likely is a lot of the reds because paint companies very often still use cochineal bugs to get that rich red color, just like in candies and stuff. So you want to keep an eye out for that, and you can always email, reach out to the company whose paint you're interested in, and just see if you can get some more information. Some will have that on their website, whether or not they test on animals, but she confirmed for sure Benjamin Moore does not. And um and that she has used Benjamin Moore not just in her own home, but when working with her clients. That's the one that she recommends because it also covers very well, and they have like a zillion colors, and it's quality paint. So that's something to consider too. And I don't know if before I had thought about, interior design, and that like a vegan interior designer was like a thing, which is so amazing that it's a thing. And she's not the only one, which is so cool. So like she's here in New Jersey, but so if you're not in New Jersey, like there's probably a vegan interior designer who can work with you too. But anyway, I keep getting sidetracked because I'm so excited to share all this information with you. Um, but yeah, paint colors. So definitely, Benjamin Moore, or if there's a paint that you like and you can't, I mean, you're not sure, check their website, and then also reach out if the information isn't clear, because you definitely want to make sure that the paint hasn't been tested on animals, and if you can get some information around whether or not animal products are used within that paint, is always it's always a good thing to have that information. So, what are you guys doing out there? What are you thinking? Is there a product in your home that you're not sure? Is it vegan? Is it not? Or how can I make this vegan? Um, Tell me. Post it in the comments. Like what around your house are you looking to replace? Do you need a suggestion or something so that you can get a vegan version of it? I would love to hear any of your questions or comments that you have. Or have you done that? Have you veganized your home in that way? And what did you do? What products did you use? Where did you shop? Um, we the whole point of fireside chat, right, is for us to have a chat. Let's talk. Share your questions. Let me know what's going on your side. Um, but let me see what else. I talked about silk. Oh, and then like furniture that is like, let's take for example a leather chair, right? If the chair is fully functional and like you don't it's like usable and you don't want to throw it away or give it away, but it's a leather chair, you have the option um, to be to either reupholster it, or when the time comes to replace the chair, to get a chair that isn't made of leather. But if you also don't want to reupholster it, then it's kind of like when we've talked about personal products, like or not products, but if you have sneakers or shoes from before you were vegan, or you've got a leather handbag from before you were vegan, uh, does it make you not vegan because you didn't throw away those animal products? No, it's about what you do when it's time to replace that product. And when you choose one that is not harmful to animals, that's living in alignment with your vegan values. Ooh, Whippet cleaner. Is that possibly available on um, the virtual Veg Fest vendor list? Please let us know, 'cause then we can point everybody to the Whippet cleaner. Otherwise, make sure you take that name down and Google it, because let me tell you about cleaning my stove. I hate doing it. I won't lie. And I would love a fantastic cleaner that that does the job. So I'm gonna check that out. Thank you. The Whippet cleaner. Let's see. Hi Rick. Thanks for being here tonight. Electronics we use. That's a tough one, because I guess it comes down to all the different components. So I mean a oops, let me just go back here for a second. The like all the things that make up, let's say, a laptop. Like obviously there's no obvious animal products in front of us. There's plastic or aluminum and all the little bits and pieces that put together, say, a MacBook, like what I'm using to talk to you, or your cell phone. Um, that's a really good question, and honestly, I'm not. I think it's vegan in that there aren't animals in it, but where did all those things come from? And is there a chance that animals were used in the creation of some of the things that we use? It's really hard. That's an amazing question, Rick, and it's definitely something that I'm going to do some research on and probably dedicate maybe a whole episode to, if there's enough information out there, because that is an amazing question. Thank you for that. So I'm going to table that one because I really feel very stumped. But I love that, because I love me some research. So thank you so much. We'll make a note of that. That's a great point. So I'm going to skip ahead to another comment. So thank you, about the labor issues around. So is it vegan when we're thinking big picture vegan, and how compassion is the core of all of it? If people are abused as well in the production of something, if people are oppressed in the production of something, does that fall in line with our vegan values? Based on the definition of veganism, we're talking about the animals, but really like the written definition. But when you think about those values and what it means to be a compassionate, caring, kind person, and it expands to everyone and every sentient being in the world, I think that that's a really good point that the labor issues could make you question, is this a vegan process? So thank you for that. What an amazing question. Yes, that's true. Humans are animals too. Thank you. And by the way, going back to the Whippet cleaner, it's not available through the virtual Veg Fest, but you can order it online. So that one more time, put that back up there. Whippet cleaner for those of you who missed it and want to take a note. Let's see. And then we've got Susan here. Right. So when you live in an apartment, your interior design is much less about what colors do I paint my walls? How do I change the flooring here? But it does come down to those actual accent pieces, right? The lamps, the bedding, the furniture that you're furnishing the space with. And so that's where we consider items like leather and silk and down, and we want to avoid those, of course, in order to have as vegan a space as we can. But that's a really great point, Susan, that when we're thinking about interior design, it's not just about, am I pulling these cabinets out and, repainting this wall and making like huge significant changes in our space, but even down to the things when the physical space can't be changed, like your floors and your walls and stuff. You can't change out, the lighting and things like that. So what do you do in order to make your space feel different and feel maybe more luxurious? And that comes down to the stuff that you bring in order to decorate your space and make it feel like you. Thank you. That's a great point. Susan also has a nice point about, I think when we were talking about the cleaning stuff, because I skipped around some of the comments a little bit, Sheets Laundry Club. So that is vegan laundry items, which is amazing. Thank you for that, Susan. All right. Awesome. This was amazing. Thank you guys so much. If you're interested in getting some more information about vegan interior design, check out my podcast that posted today under Did You Bring the Hummus? You can find it on your favorite podcast app. You can go to my website, which is didyoubringthehummus.com. It's the first episode up at the top, and it's the most recent download. So pull it up on your favorite podcast app. And then after you listen to it, because you're going to love it, then just, give Did You Bring the Hummus a nice 5-star rating if you don't mind. So that would be amazing. But you can listen to that podcast. It is with an expert in vegan interior design. We talk about a ton of awesome things. She has a lot of really good tips, and there's a ton of resources within the show notes as well. So if this is something that really interests you, it's a great place to start and get some more information about vegan interior design. With that, I think we'll close it out. Thank you all for being here. It is always an honor and a true pleasure of mine to be here and do this work and share my thoughts and suggestions and to hear from you and answer your questions and just be here with a little love fest for 20 to 30 minutes every Monday night. And I just love it. And I'm so grateful I'm able to do it. So thank you. I'll see you next Monday. Have a great week. Bye.